Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. This video is going to be a little different than my normal content, and I stumbled upon a game called Let's Build a Zoo that is being developed by a small indie company, and it reminded me a lot of Zoo Tycoon and Parkitect in some ways, and so I got my hands on a beta key by signing up on their, I think, newsletter or something like that on their website. So they're doing a beta weekend of the weekend of May 29th. So that's basically when they're basically doing a beta weekend, trying to figure out what bugs and what things that need to be fixed and things like that. So the footage you see is just me playing at least one session. So the sessions are about 45 minutes each. So you have only a couple days in game to like build your zoo, and then the game closes. So that's kind of basically how a beta would work. So, but you can go back into it if the game closes. You can go back in and play it multiple times. So I played about an hour, 70 minutes of this game, trying to figure out all the little mechanics and things like that. So the basic gist of the game is to build a zoo with these like animals. Yeah, animals in a zoo, of course. But there's some other things that they added to it, like you can splice animals together, which I think is a really cool, neat little addition. So you can make multiple combinations and stuff like that. So I think there's like 300,000 possibilities or something. That's what the store page says. So it's very straightforward. You build a pen, you pick animals to adopt or rescue from other zoos in a world map view, and then you go from there. The customization is very basic. It's just plopping down props and stuff like that, and then building stalls, restrooms, other things like that. It's very, very basic. The way the game runs in like business aspect, so the park opens every so often and it closes at 5 p.m. in game. So guests come in, they walk around, look at the animals, and then walk out. So that's okay. I like that type of mechanic. Maybe that works pretty well. Here's the select zoo or select animals for your zoo type of thing. You can trade animals for other animals, or you can rescue animals that are available. And you go from there. I'm going to talk about some of the mechanics of what I like and what I don't like. So it does feel like Zoo Tycoon a little bit. You kind of pick things, and you make your pens, and then you pick your animals. So let's just go into some of the negatives. The hiring for employees are kind of weird. So you do need to have certain buildings placed to hire certain employees. So janitors, you don't have to place anything. You just click on the entrance, you pick a janitor. But the thing is, you need to send out applicants to search for how many you want. And right now, it searches for one applicant, and then you pick the applicant to be one janitor, and then you can't pick any more right now. I think there's a bug, maybe, or they're just limiting to one janitor, because I had issues of having a whole bunch of trash everywhere, and that was a letdown. I didn't want to see trash everywhere. When I play Parkitect, I want to place down as many janitors as I can. This, you kind of don't, and it's kind of imitating 2 Point Hospital's hiring system, where they give you like a select number of applicants to choose from, and then you pick your doctors or janitors or whatever. So I think maybe they need to fix that, or maybe they should go to the Roller Coaster Tycoon stick. Would be you just plop down the janitor and just be done with it. I think that would probably be more better instead of waiting for an applicant to come in. Because I've noticed with simulation games, they want to try to make themselves different, but they also add these like mechanic of waiting times, and I don't necessarily think that's important for a game like this scale. So I think the hiring needs to be fixed a little bit on that, because then you also have to do research team. You have to hire researchers, so you place down a research building, and then you get a research. Also, you can see on the screen here, there's a restroom off to the left next to the little brown building. That little brown building is called storage. So there's utility buildings to put down. I do like that they added utility buildings to this game, because Parkitect was missing some utility buildings, I think, but when you add something like that utility building, you add more complication to gameplay. Planet Zoo does the same thing, where you have like little, the zookeeper huts. You have to put a whole bunch down to supply food to your animals. Let's Build a Zoo does the same thing, and I don't know if I want more buildings in my map which just clutter things up. So that is somewhat of a gripe, but you kind of get used to it because you only have to place down one research and then you're done, and then that researcher just sits there and makes research points, and then those research points go into either getting more enrichment items for your animals, more decoration, or more food stalls. Whatever you need, that kind of goes pretty well. Zookeepers, I think you can only hire one right now. It's the same issue with you have to send out like a research, like you send out like a number of applicants to be filled. You send out a job post, and that has to be filled. And I wish that wouldn't take time. I just wish it didn't. So that's my gripe on hiring. I think it could be done better. The decoration tab and the building tabs. So right now the UI is okay, but there is an issue. If you're looking at the screen, you see the words early beta version, and there's these three little squares covering up something behind the main UI on the top of the screen. I think those three little squares and the option gear should be at the bottom of the screen, either left or right. They should not be on top here. I think this is an issue with how you put the GUI up there. It's covering up your guest count and your research number. So I wasn't sure what my research was and how many I had. So that's an issue. That should be moved. The build menu. It's a little cluttered. There's a lot of little tabs. Benches, trash cans, and lamps are all individual tabs, and I feel like they should be all in one tab. I don't know why they're in three different ones, but they are, and they should be in one tab, so yeah, I can just go find benches and trash cans and plop them down. End of discussion. So that should be fixed. But I do like the options of decorating your zoo, whatever limited the game's creativity is. It's very limited. I don't expect this game to be like, oh, I'm going to build a Let's Build the Zoo University series. That's not going to happen, because it's like this game has no creativity. It's very limited. It has creativity, but it's very limited with pieces. But I do think it's cute with the graphics and all. Again, that's a positive for this game, is that it's very cute on its little like pixelized graphics. It feels like a it feels like if Theme Park Tycoon, I think it's called Theme Park Tycoon for Bullfrog. I don't know what it's called, but if they made a zoo game, I think that's what it feels like. And I think I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know if I remember I talked about the splicing, but you can splice animals together and make different hybrids. But that's also in this game too, which is I think is cute and funny, and it adds a little character to the game. Some of the things that I find tedious would be water pumps are interesting. That actually you have to move water around to fill up water pumps or water troughs for your animals. See, I'm trying to figure this out. I do like there's tasks involved that you have to fill up. So how many guests you need, how many animals you should have in your zoo, blah 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 blah. That's a cool way to keep your zoo moving instead of you get to a point where you stagnate and it just kind of doesn't go from there. Let me see, what other mechanics are there? Let's talk about, actually, let's go back to one more negative, would be, there's no bulldozer tool, and I feel like there should be a bulldozer tool, because every item in the game, you put down a bench, a path, a plant, a lamp, they can be deleted or moved by hand. You just click on that item, you can delete it or move it. But if I want to delete multiple objects, I think a bulldozer tool, would be beneficial, and it should be in the game. Because at this point, any game that is simulation or builder based should have your core mechanics. Bulldozer tool. I did not check if it has Control Z. It might not. It might. I need to double check. But I only played about an hour. I might play some more later. But I've been waiting for this game to kind of end up like to do some type of beta or something. So I was surprised that they were doing a beta this weekend. So I was like, okay, might as well. So I did, and I had fun doing it. It's you gotta get sucked into it when you find out what research stuff you find out and what buildings you can place down. I do like the little art styles of all these buildings and stuff like that. Like these buildings I can easily probably replicate these in Architect or something. That would be kind of cute. Um, research tab is quite straightforward. You get 4 options in the beginning. You unlock it with research points, and then it branches out from there. There's not a lot of items in the game because it is a beta, and I think there's like only like 20 types of animals, I think. So there's not a lot there either. So it's kind of limited, but I think the game's going to do more stuff. I don't know if there's going to be a campaign. I feel like a game like this needs a campaign to showcase stuff and mechanics for this game. I think that would be beneficial. But yeah, maybe. I hope there's a campaign. That'd be cool. I think it does pretty well to portray what a zoo does. It's not supposed to be that serious. Again, it's not like Planet Zoo, which I have a lot of problems with Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo just has so many systems entwined to each other. Like it has a power system, a water system. You have to have food huts for everybody. It just gets complicated. I know that's how a real zoo would work, but for a game, I feel like that's not necessary. And I want to kind of keep it simple. It is a game after all. Let's talk about some new mechanics that they added that I find interesting. So there's a mechanic called morality. So you can be good or bad zoo. So I did this on my second run, and there was a task or a quest that popped up. So quests do pop up, and you can accept or deny them. A quest popped up and says, "You want to get more guests in your zoo? Paint one of your horses like a zebra." I'm like, oh, okay. So I painted a zebra, and I got like 5 points evil points. And so my zoo's 5 points more evil than neutral. It's like, okay, that's interesting. So I think the mechanic is if you pick more evil, I think your zoo looks more bad or more decrepit and more dark. And if you pick a zoo you pick like good things, like you rescue more animals or you send them to the wild, you become a good zoo. So I haven't really delved into more of the morality stuff, but I think that's a cute little idea. Because that reminds me of there's a game that did this thing called, it's not SimCity, it was like Sim Neighborhoods or something like that nature. Did that as well. You can make a decrepit city by picking certain policies and stuff like that, and I think this game does that pretty well. I haven't seen much into it because you only have 45 minutes to play, but I think that would be fun to do playthroughs of a good zoo or evil zoo or like a neutral zoo. I think that would be super fun to do. So yeah, that's so far the game. Yeah, the game is pretty solid in that aspect. So let me explain how you set up a pen. Might as well. So you pick a fence of some sort. So right now grass is the only option. So you make your pen, and then you can click on the pen, or you can click on the animal paw print that's up in the corner. It's a green one with a plus. You click on that, you go to the select zoo screen, and these little dots on the world map start appearing to suggest what you can buy. So you can either trade for certain animals, so you have to either trade a capybara for a horse, stuff like that, or you can go rescue animals from a zoo. And then you pick the animal, and then you pick the pen that it goes in, and then you have a waiting time before the animal arrives. I'm somewhat okay with the waiting, but again, with the waiting mechanic, I think it just serves no purpose in some games. Because, see, Roller Coaster Tycoon World was going to do that, then it didn't do it. But the mobile game does it, and I think that's annoying, where you have to sit there and wait for something to build. And I just don't think it serves any purpose of waiting. Why can't we just plop the animal down like Zoo Tycoon does? I think that is more beneficial. I mean, I see they have a helicopter they already animated and stuff, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere soon. So, yeah, it's okay, but I don't like the waiting aspect. I think that's silly. But that's my opinion. Again, this is all my thoughts and my criticizing of this game. But I still love it. I'm probably going to purchase it when it comes out. And I do enjoy the music. The music right now is only I think 5 tracks. It's very, very simple. They need to expand that maybe to an hour, maybe 2, just because you're going to be playing this hopefully longer than 20 minutes. Because the game has a lot to it. The pathway system is very simple. It's grid, but you do have the option to making triangle pieces, which I think is cool. So you can make like diagonal pathways and stuff like that. That's cool. That's really neat. Animation-wise, animals are just hopping around, kind of like gooey typeness. It's fine. It's not really important, but it's kind of weird after a while. But I think that's the chosen art style they chose. I just realized the art style kind of looks like a not Nintendo, the graphics for like a Pokemon game. That's what it looks like because the people kind of look like that. They have like little squashed people with little beady eyes. Yeah, I think that's actually cool. It's kind of nostalgia. I only played a couple of the Pokemon games on my Game Boy. I think it was on something like that. But I think it looks nice. Sound effects are pretty good and solid. Some of them are a little loud, but I could have also turned down the audio for that. Now, also with the pens, you have to put water troughs in, and the water trough button is you have to click on the enclosure to get enriched items and drinking spots for your animals. I feel like that's hidden behind a menu, and maybe that should be in a different build tab, maybe called, I don't know, enclosure items, because you have to click on a pen to get those items, and I find that a little hidden, because you do have to be aware when you build a simulation game, you don't put things in a lot of windows, and when you have a lot of windows, it clutters up your screen, and then it gets distracting. So yeah, there's some things they can improve. I don't know how long this beta is going to go. I don't know what they're going to do, but if you want to try to play the beta, I suggest you try to sign up on their link. I don't know if the link is still there. I honestly don't know. It might be gone now. But it's good to jump in, play the game, and give your honest opinion to the developers, and then the developers have a direction to go. And it's a good way to kind of build a game properly, because you need feedback from people. And also, they need to know what direction they need to go to make this game better and more accessible to other people and stuff. It depends. Making games is 100% like the most difficult thing I know right now. I personally have not developed a game, but I do know the inner workings of Architect a little bit, and jumping into another game, I kind of understand when you have a team. Building a game is quite difficult, especially a simulation game where you have a lot of little items and things like that, animations. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a fun little game when it comes out on Steam sooner or later. And yeah, I probably won't make a series on this, but who knows? I just wanted to make a video quickly on like thoughts and some of my gripes about it, but majority of my feelings for it is positive. I'm like 85% happy with my gameplay that I've done, and if I spent another 2 hours on messing around and things like that, I probably could make a pretty cool looking zoo and probably unlock more items. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you here and let the game just run. You can just watch me play and goof off, and I'll catch you guys in another Architect video soon. I'm working on a couple, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.